Hey, what's up everybody? This is Josh from Legacy Farms Northwest. I'm here today painting some bee hardware. So this is from Beeline Apiaries. We got some new hardware. Our hives out here, we're expanding today. Did a hive check today and the rule of 7. So we had 7 drawn out frames out of 10. So I need to paint up some boxes and add some new hardware. So I'm just gonna show you a couple tips and tricks that I do when painting my hardware, and also what kind of paint I use. So I'll start with the paint. This is just a regular interior exterior latex paint. It's, you know, you definitely want exterior. This is old. I don't know how old. Paint doesn't really go bad as long as it's sealed. So you can see the price tag on that bad boy. $1.99. I got that for $2, and I came at a day where it was half off, so I got it for $1. You can't really beat a gallon of paint for $1. This will paint like all the hardware you need plus some. So look for your paint at secondhand stores. Some of them carry it, some of them don't. Look at like Habitat for Humanity, those kind of places. They'll have paint on sale or for clearance, that kind of stuff, because people drop it off to recycle it, and if it's still good, they can resell it. So remember that when you're buying paint. Don't go spend 28 bucks at Home Depot for, you know, Bare Premium or something like that. Just go down to the local, you know, thrift store, see if they have it. If they don't have it, they'll know somebody who does. But anyways, let's get into it. So here's another little hack. You don't need a big space. These are medium frames, so these aren't the full deeps. These are mediums that we use for our honey supers, so they're a little lighter weight. Instead of like 100 pounds when they're full, they're like 60 pounds, so easier to move. I have a 13-year-old son that him and I do bees together, so these are easy for him to move. They're easy for me to move. We try to use all the same hardware. I do have a couple of deep boxes, but I still use this style when I'm painting them. So basically what I did is I just took a full roller, cut it in half, and now I got 2 rollers out of it. So I don't have to, you know, I'd spend half as much right there for my roller. So, and these will be, I usually do 2 to 3 coats. Usually 2 is good, especially with something this thick. 2 coats should cover the surface well enough. And I'll just wrap this in like a, you know, a plastic bag overnight, and then that'll keep it from drying out and I can use it tomorrow. So, all right, so here's how I start. I take these cheap brushes too. These are just the little foam brushes. I get a bunch of paint on there, and you can use a bigger one, doesn't really matter. These ends right here are very, they soak it up. They soak up the paint like a sponge. So I lay it in thick. You can see where these staple holes are, and sometimes there's gaps in between these joints. I make sure that I fill those completely. I like to see no black, no airspace. So I try to get those, you know, all cleared up so that these are galvanized staples, but over time they will kind of break down and they will, you know, start to rust. These are also usually going to be your most high traffic areas. So when you're popping your bees open to inspect them, you're usually taking your hive tool right here on a corner and popping these corners. So you like to get all that good and coat, you know, thick coat, good coverage. So here again, I'm just getting these black air pockets out. I'm just kind of using the paint as a filler. That paint will eventually dry. And then I'll paint the handle really quick. And these don't have to be pretty. So you can have your kids, like I'll have my kids come back and they'll put some stencils on them, or they'll draw pictures. My one son, he decorated mine in Seattle Seahawks colors, so that was cool. So got those all painted up nice. My other son did his in Broncos, so that was cool. So be creative, keep it unique so that your bees stand out. Alright, so here I'm just going to put a little pressure with the inside of my hand so this thing doesn't shift around. If you notice, my box is just hanging off the table, that way I don't paint the table. I'm just getting paint on the box. And that's about it right there. Okay, now I only have 3 sides of this one painted, but just for demo purposes, I would paint the 4th side and then I would go along the tops. Now you don't paint inside your boxes. The bees will actually cover it with it's kind of like a resin that they get from the sap of trees. It's called propolis. It's very sticky. It's like their own paint. It's kind of like a glue as well. It's amazing stuff. It's very, very durable. It's thick, it's sticky. It's basically like a bee glue. It's very cool stuff. But they'll coat the inside. You don't want any any paint on here, so this is all just bare wood in here. Now when I go to rotate this or I move it, I just pop it up like that, and then I don't have to touch it, rotate it, hang it off the edge of my table, and then I'll do the same thing. Coat this first, get that all thick, paint my handles, and then roll it. And so each box takes about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. Pretty easy. Cheap paint, cheap rollers, cheap paintbrush, saving money, doing things old-fashioned way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like. You can follow us on YouTube. Check us out. Legacy Farms Northwest. Thanks, guys.